Should I introduce, sorry to interrupt. I just, wish to introduce among our
Okay,
participants.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yes. So, welcome to this online 1 week, national FDP, which been organized by AICT Training and Learning. That is the initiative they have started, sir. And we have around 130 participants who are taking part into this, and out of that 109 have already joined. And so, participants, today we have one of our, the good, the speaker, and also he is known by, their friends TD, that TD Chandrasekhar. So, so for 3 decades now, he has been involved with, this businesses. First as practicing executive and later as an external expert. And in his current role as a coach, facilitator, and a consultant for over a decade, and he has coached over 200 senior executives, facilitated over 1,000 corporate programs covering more than 15,000 executives. So this is really tremendous, and we all are fortunate to have you in this program, and all participation definitely will have blessings and valuable content from you, sir. And also I think you are now recognized as the professor in IIM Amritsar, right, sir?
Yes, I'm teaching there a course called Strategy and Consulting, which is on innovation and how do you look at strategy. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, as an invited speaker at various places, he has addressed over 100 occasions, including initiatives like TEDx, which is very popular among all. And his focus has primarily been on excellence, creativity, and innovation, both at individual as well as organization levels with leading business organization, not only in India but overseas also. So his last corporate role was as country lead India of Ameriprise Financial, which he set up and led till he started on his the next phase. So this shows the commitment and dedication. And also in his executive roles, he was known to focus both on professional excellence and personal well-being of every staff, as he believed strongly on the concept of sustainable business success hanging on motivated minds only. So that's true. And as management fraternity, all the participants also knows very well these things. By improving or by taking all the peoples with you, then definitely nobody will stop to make you the successful organization. So that is nice of you to see those things. And also he also loves interacting with students and teaching, and visiting faculties like very renowned educational institutes like IIT Delhi, IIM Amritsar, IIM Lucknow, MDI Gurgaon, Vedika Scholars, where he engages in discussion on topics related to creativity and factors facilitating a growth mindset. And at home, his 4-year-old twin daughters bring him unbounded joy. So that's nice of you, sir, for sharing this. And also, he has co-wrote one book with his close friend, Dr. Prasanna Swarupa, Good Values, Great Business. So has given him an immense joy by writing this. And book has been dedicated to the millions of youngsters who join the workforce every year. He also taken some sessions at GTU and is passionate about the spark behind the design process. He's looking forward to a very engaging this session. Definitely, we all are waiting for your the session, sir. Now I request uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
your mic.
Yeah. KBG का वो म्यूट करना पड़ेगा.
I'll
Hello.
mute it. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
mute it. So now I
Okay.
request, and session is up to now over to you, sir. And thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Tushar bhai. Thank you, and I would like to keep it very interactive. So, Tushar
Yes,
bhai, anytime you see somebody wanting to raise a question or wants to interact, please stop me. I might not be able
yes,
to see it. So,
definitely.
so thanks again. So, the focus of my talk is, see, the main objective of this FTB I saw is to ensure that all the researchers, faculty members, teachers create interest, creativity, innovation in the classroom and make students ready not only for industry but also responsible citizen of India who can contribute for the development of the nation at large. So that means it's also that we are part of character building, part of infusing curiosity, part of infusing problem solving abilities. So it's a very, very noble aim with which we are doing this. And no country can grow without outstanding teaching. So it's pleasure to be part of the teaching fraternity. And also we should never forget that youth is our future. And we are all dealing with youth. And majority of innovations, it's not just youth is the future, youth also is spearheads change in society. Most of the inventions of mankind have been done by youth in the age group of say 18 to 30, 35. If you look at all the inventions of the world. So youth is a powerful force. It carries curiosity, carries ambition, carries energy, etc. So we have to nurture. As a country, we can only grow if our youth is inspired. So I hope with this, let's look at Time magazine of the year. I don't know how many of you saw this. Did somebody see this news item? This Indian girl, Indian origin girl, yeah, Indian background girl or origin girl, etc. Gitanjali Rao won the Time Kid of the Year. The first time Time announced such an award. And you can see how young this curiosity, if inspired, can, and the spark, if it's encouraged. All of us have spark, but this spark, when encouraged, can create miracles. And she is saying observe, brainstorm, research, build, and communicate. So it's such a beautiful story. I would like all of you, encourage you to go to the Time magazine site and read this story if you have not seen this magazine. Beautiful. It tells us, it encourages us that so many youngsters have the potential to do really, really good stuff. And she has done astonishing work at that young age. And work related to actually solving some really interesting problems to do with contaminated drinking water, addiction, cyberbullying, etc., etc. And her message seems to be that inspiration and focus are extremely important. If we can tap the mind of brilliant youngsters, we can do magic. Lot of problems in society can be solved. Even today, if we are speaking, some of the major initiatives are happening because very young people are talking about climate change, pollution, etc., etc. So a lot of momentum is coming from youngsters. So it is even more our opportunity, duty, responsibility to encourage as many youngsters, create paths open for them to make these big changes. Obviously, a lot of you are involved in technology. A lot of you are involved in deeper science and complex ways in which we solve using technology. And technology is used. A lot of scientific knowledge is used, be it biotech, biology, or be it engineering, pure physics. And most of the innovations come from a lot of good knowledge. You can't have a rocket taking off, SpaceX is taking off, ISRO takes off, we are going to go to moon. So a lot of knowledge is required. So we need to imbibe a lot of skills and knowledge and science and technology and latest techniques. But my talk is going to be that we need amazing scientific knowledge, amazing skilling, but there is something even before that, more basic, which sometimes does not happen. So my talk is around that. So I'm not at all saying that these things are not required. Basic education, basic training is not required. And if proper motivation is given, we can see Vinisha, National Innovation Foundation, through their funding, she created an outstanding innovative solar ironing cart here. This came in the news some time back. So, and she is from Tiruvannamalai district in Tamil Nadu, and her impact is so huge. And see the design she's created with what Karan was saying about contextual need. So once the minds are ignited, like Abdul Kalam Saab said, then people will learn whatever is required to do. So this was not modesty. This is not modesty with which Albert Einstein is saying this. He really felt it, that what made him apart from others and what made him do what he did was curiosity. Every child is filled with curiosity. So if I ask you, an adult and a child went to a new city, who learnt a new language faster? Adult and a child went to a new city, who learnt ice skating faster, or who made more friends, etc., etc. Every single time you would say a child. So what happens when we are young children and start growing and become 18-year-olds, come to colleges? Why is that spark lower? And what is the role we play as teachers? Is what I am going to discuss today. And also I'll address a bit about questions which I heard some people asking: why does design thinking succeed? And what is required to succeed? We have good ideas, but in implementation, what do these people do? Which are the great inventors and great designers and great architects whose buildings are amazing, etc. How do they manifest reality? What are the qualities required? I'll touch that also when you show the entire, I show the entire creativity cycle, how it gets implemented. So quick thing about design thinking: design, lot of misconception. So even in the best of institutes, when I've gone and addressed faculty members of design thinking, I have found out that most of it's lazy thinking. This was done by some Stanford, some youngster, some young lecturer sometime, and everybody is replicating this. Everybody thinks that this is design thinking. This has almost become God's speech now. And it has almost become like a checklist. According to me, if you are calling this design thinking, then this is the entire mechanical engineering, entire mechanics. So it's completely, we are making it a mockery. So it's not that these are not good things, but this is understood. It's like eating, it's like water and food. So this is, what the soul we are missing in most of our teaching about design thinking. It is almost like a bad physics teacher saying that these are the 3 laws of motion here. And then we expect great mechanical engineers or inventive mechanical engineers. So first of all, let's bring our own spark back. Let's internalize and create our own way of looking at design thinking. And if there are 140 faculty members here, all 140 have to have a different diagram of design thinking. What are you bringing into this world? Your point of view of design thinking. What is your experience, your context you are bringing to the students? So this is what I'm going to be discussing as a discussion point, because whatever we discuss today is simple but not easy. Simple in the sense that if you look at it in any field, be it design thinking, be it physics, be it maths, be it music, any field, if you know the basic building blocks, and the basic building blocks well, what creates a great idea, what creates a good implementation, what creates a fit to context, basic building block. If you know well, and then let the child play with it. Let the child know the basic building blocks. Then after 3 hours, 4 hours, you come back, you will see amazing stuff the child has created from the Lego blocks or these blocks. Even nature does this. If your basic building blocks are clear, then you can create the most complex things. You can play around and do magic. In any field, this is true. So first we have to introspect whether our basic building blocks are clear. And that's the conversation I want to have as to what are these basic building blocks. So let me show you 2 photographs and I'll ask you a question. Which photograph do you like more? I'll show you this and I'll show you this. These are college students, maybe first or second year. This is might be maybe KG, kindergarten. Maybe 4 or 5 year olds. These are 18, 19 year olds. Okay, I'll show you these 2 pictures and tell me which one you like more. Anybody wants to?
So the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else?
The second one.
Both. I
Yeah.
like both.
Yeah, you like, very good. Anybody else?
Second photograph.
Honest answer, huh?
Second photograph, kids photograph.
Okay, this one. This is okay. Kids. You can say kids or adults. Kids. Okay, kids photograph. What? Who else?
Kids photograph, sir.
Okay. So I have shown this across different cultures, different places, different societies, etc., etc. 99.9% I get the answer kids photograph. Okay, and those who are saying kids, give me some 2 or 3 reasons why your mind says kids. Instantly you say kids, but there are 3 or 4 reasons why you say kids.
It's
energy level high.
Yeah.
Everybody's mind,
Energy level is very high.
everybody, they look relaxed and
No, one by one, please.
innocent.
Very good.
Raising
Innocence.
hands to do something and smiling, sir.
Very good.
they are not
They have
posing
fresh
to
mind.
photographers.
Yeah.
They have fresh mind.
Fresh mind. Very good. What else?
Sir, they are not posing to the photograph.
Yeah, they are not posing for photograph. They are not even pretending. They are just enjoying. Yeah, very good. What else?
Eager to
High level
learn.
energy.
Full of energy. Very good.
Eager to
Very-
learn.
Very good. Very good.
And their imagination has no boundaries.
Yeah, there's no boundaries. They have not restricted themselves. There's no win, lose. There's no failure, winning. They will go and just play around. You give them Lego blocks, they keep doing various stuff, very creative stuff. Yeah.
And so whatever.
So they are not bothered about what other.
Very good. They are not bothered about what others think. Very good. Very good.
They don't
Yes,
have any
yes.
discrimination.
And so whatever they are
They
learning, they are
mingle with
enjoying.
everyone.
Yeah, they are enjoying life. They are also learning a lot. They're enjoying also. Very good.
They mingle with everyone.
Yeah, very good. Collaboration, and they play around, they make friends. Very good.
But so they are just following instructions. The teacher must have indicated raise your hand. So some of them are raising.
And they're having fun doing that.
Yeah.
So they're having fun doing that. Yes. Very good. Very good. Yeah.
And sir, no fear to judgment. For judgment.
Yeah.
No fear for judgment.
No fear of judgment saying that I will raise like this, I will raise like that. How will teacher think? Everybody has their own style. Unique style. Yeah.
No bothering about any complexities, any other.
Yeah. Very good.
That can be.
Yeah. In fact, entire design thinking hinges on simplicity. Not complexity. Yeah.
They also give new ideas at times.
Very good. New ideas. Oh, absolutely. Anybody who's encountered with kids knows how many ideas they come up with. Absolutely. So when we look at this, every culture has words to do with spark, tejas, vigor, etc. Every culture in the world. And every teacher who teaches a class beyond say 18 years of age or 17 years of age, if you ask a teacher, can you tell students with spark in the class? You tell me your own experience. Isn't it easy to figure out which students have spark? Yes, no?
For adults, sir, it is really difficult because of so many reasons. But in case of kids, it is really possible. And I think if I could relate it better way from the research example, once we have the problem of data and now we have the problem of big data. So that is something.
Yeah. So Vijay Lakshmi, you wanted to say something?
Sir, sometimes students, they won't explicitly mention what they think.
Yeah.
So we can't find anything from adults.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, they hold on to themselves. See, my own experience has been that in any classroom of bigger children, I find 2 or 3 students with very good spark. But if I go to a KG class, almost all students have spark. And this is an express spark. It's not that they don't have older students, but somehow over time it's got hidden. The sun has got hidden with the clouds. So there's something which is missing. So for educators, we have to build that spark back. It is not the techniques, it's the spark which has to be reignited. Do you agree, Vijay Lakshmi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
yes,
So the fundamental belief is that all of us have this spark. It has to be ignited there. And if you don't ignite the class and then you give a prescriptive algorithm that design thinking are these 5 steps, you actually do a worse thing. You actually make it less interesting now. In fact, the first few classes, every student should design their own algorithm for design thinking. That should be the first class. But what's happened is over time, I'm seeing in every classroom, it's like periodic table here. These 5 steps are design thinking. Which inventor has ever done like this here?
Sir, we can't see your slide.
Yeah. I'm not showing the slide, but yeah. Now can you see?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So which, for example, Geetanjali Rao, does she even mention the 5 steps of design thinking? Did that girl who made the solar cart, does he even know those 5 steps? It doesn't matter. Because those 5 steps are most intuitive. It's like saying that you need water to drink. Or you need something, even a 1-day-old child knows that she needs milk. And we have started thinking that is now the God's thing here. We are born with design thinking. We are born with this. Otherwise, how would mankind come to this level? This term called design thinking is just invented now. But even 1,000 years back, we were making amazing bridges, amazing buildings. In Rajasthan, there are buildings which they are so cool in middle of summer. So how did the designers make? Except for thinking who's going to use it and what are the materials available around us. So anybody with common sense, a 10-year-old child will create that entire algorithm called design thinking algorithm. So we have to create our own thinking deep inside.
Sir.
I'll just let me take 10 more minutes and then you can talk. Then you can ask. Is that okay?
Sure, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So so our duty as teachers is to ignite this spark, which is there in every single person. Because go to any classrooms in any state in India with kids less than 6 years old, you will find this. But go to classrooms in India, in any classroom above 15 years old, you will find the most dull students, 80%. We have to introspect whether that's true or not. What we call in our own Indian spirituality, we call it soul, awareness, consciousness, etc., self-creative expression, etc. It's like the burning sun. It is not a mimicry. It is not like a dark room where you have to go and switch on the light. It is already there. This unique personality is already there. It is already there. It's hidden. As teachers, we have to uncover. Even if you are teaching them physics or design thinking, you have to help them uncover their meaning of design thinking. The last thing you should do is show them that slide called "These are the 5 steps of design thinking." It makes no sense. It is like in every chemistry classroom, there's a periodic table. How many students see that? Unless you get the magic of that. We have to ensure that the spark is there. It can be in organization and can be in people. For example, every single person here has so much spark. We need to ignite that spark. And once it's ignited, then it doesn't matter. Age does not count. You can be an amazing design thinker or amazing inventor or amazing problem solver, be it 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 20, 30. Does not matter. Because your basics are right. Your basic building blocks are very, very clear. And basic building blocks are very simple. But because our basics go so wrong, we are not able to create then complex things based on that basics. It crumbles. So my rest of the talk will be around this. What is the process behind creativity and manifestation? So that the basic building blocks are clear. What makes this happen? And automatically, if you are clear about such cycles or whatever metaphor, whatever construct you want to use, this made sense to me, so I'm showing, but you have to figure out. Then you will know the entire link very clearly from an ideation to actual implementation. Then you yourself will know where I need to now focus on. It doesn't matter if this is we are creating a big rocket or a big building or a small toy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which area of work. But some basic ways in which human beings think and make things. We need to be very clear, because if that is not clear, then we will be doing mimicry. We'll be copying without understanding deeply. But if that basic structure is clear, just like in music teaching, they say, the great teachers say first 1 year, you just have to pick up these basic notes, no singing songs. And this, if a child comes to the class with these basics clear, then magic can happen. Then you can put some complex theories and all. So next 20-25 minutes, I'll talk about what works in each of these boxes. So I'll just take questions now. Some people wanted to talk. Yeah, Indrila, Pankaj.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So my contention in my first session only, I'd asked the same thing, that design thinking has always been there. It is just made a framework now. And the second thing, I had one question to you is, sir, that in management principles also we have something called new product development.
Yes.
So isn't that process and design thinking process overlapping? Only the thing which is missing is empathy. Other than that, what do you have to say, sir, about?
Indrila, I would like you to throw both away.
Okay.
Invent your own thing.
Okay.
So you figure out, step back and say, what does it take to create an awesome product which works in the context I want?
Okay.
You will come with your own, which will have some commonality, because a lot of good brains have figured out what worked for them. So you will see which step will you miss. Yeah, you can't miss any step.
You can't miss any step. Correct, sir.
How can you miss? It's like saying that I need to create a steps for how my child will drink water. Across all the countries, all the villages, children are born, they go drink water, they grow up, they eat food, they play, etc. So you create your own algorithms, own way in which you think that you can have a great idea and manifest. Cultures across the world have been building bridges and buildings.
Yes, sir.
You create your own charts. Every class, every student has to create their own way.
Okay.
There is nothing magical about this. What is empathy? Why are we even teaching students empathy? They are more empathetic than anybody I know. Kids of 8-year-old kids play with everybody. If another child is standing outside watching, they'll call them in and play football. Do we have to teach them empathy?
Absolutely not. And sir, in nature also, everything begins with empathy. I mean, nature is the biggest designer, and everything starts with empathy. I think empathy has also become a very commercialized term now, in the sense when we say create an empathy. I've seen design thinking being taken in schools and in colleges. So the real empathy right now is, I think, no one is looking at empathy towards the environment. We are still humanistic in our approach. We are just limiting ourselves to human empathy. Why not animals? Why not the environment? So I've had this very thing in my mind all the time, sir. So the buildings we have, buildings or wherever cities, we have captured all the water and piped them. There are no open sources for the animals to drink unless and until they find some water puddle because of car wash or something. I see a swimming pool right outside my window, and not a single animal can drink water out of it. But if it was a pond, probably so many creatures could have drunk water. So I think somewhere our design thinking empathy is very limited to human beings only. So I find a fault in our design thinking process. I am too small to say this. There are big thinkers out here, but I feel there's a fault that we are limiting empathy to only human empathy and not to the environment at large.
Yeah.
I appreciate your thought, madam.
Yeah. So Pankaj, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me, sir. First of all, sir, thanks to challenge the overemphasized dominating practice of sharing and teaching design thinking.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the very first day, I asked the same question. But gradually, what I been influenced by these speakers is that basically, if it comes to teaching or training the people how to use design thinking, so we require some sort of process. I agree with you that the step of the process should not be fixed. People can explore by themselves. But I think for the first hand understanding, it has to be a process oriented. And of course, from the Indian context.
So Pankaj, I'll give you two choices. One choice is that teacher tells the process. Second choice is a flipped mode where I tell the students investigate the entire summer. Go through the web, investigate all the models, and prepare your own model and come and present in the class.
So problem is on the internet as well, sir. So the process is there.
And then you are the teacher, and then you encourage.
And let me make the last point, sir. Last point is you said, sir, in your introduction that you are from strategy and consulting. So again, this comes to my mind that okay, we also teach strategy through the process. If somebody wants to know, actually understand how to create a strategy, initially we let him know these are the steps and you go by these steps, you get a
No, I don't teach like that. I don't teach like that.
So no,
see,
you probably not, but there are some other opinion, like you can take a case study and ask people to interact. So a random way and a process way, a tunnel approach. And
Pankaj, you're missing my point. Pankaj, you're missing my point. I'm not saying
maybe sir,
I'm not saying that we should. There is not a method by which people can know how to make a good pot, how to do poetry. There are obviously master classes, and we learn from teachers. Absolutely, 100%. I'm just saying that as teachers, in the end, there has to be an internalization, and we have to be very strong in the view that if that internalization is not happening, then we are only generating copycats. And that copycat methodology will never work. It will never give us creative solutions. Like Indrila saying that if you are not even sensitive to the environment, if you are not sensitive to external entire ecosystem, then we are making a mockery of it. If the plants and animals and greenery and all that is not there in urban planning, and we are not concerned about the local economic ecosystem, and we keep ordering from Amazon and all the local telewalas and all disappear, and Swiggies, then what are we creating?
Well, I'm so sorry to intervene in between.
Can I come in, sir?
The point is, the last point, sir. We have a diversity in the classroom. As you said, that 80% of the students found dull in their approach, and we need to ignite them.
Yeah.
How to handle that, diversity in the classroom? Obviously, when we think of various methods, so we require some sort of process to handle this diversity. Few people are quick learner, few are very poor learner. Maybe there are creative skills could not be as much visible or apparent as the others are. How will you handle that?
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that.
I want to add it to it.
Sir, can I come in, sir? Sir, can I come in, sir?
Ravi, just a minute. So we will come to that. Let's continue with I'll ask Ravi to share something, but we'll come to that. It's a good point because these are live points. How do you, in a scaled up environment where there are more than 40, 50, 60, 70 students, how can we create an environment where the chances that we can ignite more people are there? Already self-selected 3 or 4 people come with Spark and they go out with Spark. But that's not what as leaders we want, no? As teachers we want. We want that
Sir,
if 1,000 students, Hema, hold on. First, I'll ask Ravi to speak. Just a minute, please. So our duty as teachers are, if there are 100 people in our class, can majority of them walk with something having changed in them and not feel even more discouraged and be more enthusiastic than when they came in? And the last way to do it is ask them to now say that this is one more construct. You have learned so many things in life. Now learn one more algorithm. Design thinking works like this. That's not how I have seen my best friends who are inventors and makers do it. In fact, they have not even heard of this Stanford design thinking model. But last 40 years, they are creating so many fantastic designs here. One of my friends is, so we all have experienced this, that in reality, how do great minds work? And in them, if you see, just sit with them and see, they will show all the attributes of that design thinking model, absolutely. But saying that if you expose students to this model early on and say, now follow this, you will become a great design thinker. That is not going to happen. That will not happen. And the reason is that spark never gets ignited. So that is my proposition of this talk. And I'm saying it in a little stronger manner just to provoke discussion. That's all. So that it stays with you even when you leave. So some of the points I also know that we need to tailor it. There are a lot of constraints we have as teachers. But I'm just saying that so that it leaves with some thinking. Okay, quick point by Hema and Ravi, then I have to continue because we have an end time here, 1:15.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, Hema, Ravi first.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So it's always wonderful to have a tangential exposure just to again get in few points. I had only one point to make. Indrila ma'am was very perfect in saying that yes, empathy is required. But then, sir, in our desire to de-emphasize this, what I would like to bring in is like we cannot can we actually deviate from the actual standard meanings of our concepts. Say for instance, empathy is something that you can have only with another human. Empathy, as you rightly said, we may be concerned about the environment, we may be compassionate towards the environment, we can be compassionate towards animals, we can be compassionate towards plants, but we cannot be empathetic towards animals as per the standard definition of empathy. So in that situation, we may beat our own path, as you rightly said. Why not have our own process? But in the process, how crucial would it be to actually adhere to the established concepts? Because
Okay, Ravi,
can we actually counter argue the concepts as well?
Ravi, let me ask you a question. Suppose you see a child which takes her favorite textbook and throws it at home, and while walking steps on it. Let's suppose you see that in a video. She's careless about her favorite textbook, she's careless about her favorite violin which she is learning, and she steps on it and she goes. Do you think that that child will care for a poor beggar outside wanting help?
No, sir.
So, but in the first case, it was not a living being. She was careless with non-living beings.
Right, sir.
So what
Sir,
happened?
I want to interrupt
Some of the things. Yeah, hold on. Some of the things
I just want to interrupt.
Hold on, Hema, please. Some of the things are to do with very deep principles, which are the simple principles. That's why I've said the basic building blocks of the child have to be very well nurtured. That is care for the environment which is caring for me. Being grateful. This book from which I am learning is, I'm so grateful to this book. This tabla I'm playing, I'm so grateful to it. It's giving me so much joy. If that switch is not turned on, how do you expect that switch to get turned on with a living being also here?
Sir, I totally agree with you, but what I would like to just emphasize is
let's not continue here, please. Why I'm saying is we'll run short of time and I will not do justice to Hema and all.
Okay,
but Ravi, just put it on chat and we'll continue. Hema.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to tell you that, addition to whatever your conversation was going on, so learning, it is said to be behavioral modifications. Right. So as you have rightly commented that a boy or a girl, throwing, walking on her book or just ignoring the things she was learning about. So entire process, when we are talking about how to teach, it becomes a structurized steps when we want to modify their way of looking at it. And that's why maybe these 5 steps of design thinking should be taught to the entire public, because we want to modify their looking at the perspective. Maybe whoever are having the innate ability to empathize, design, prototype and deliver the things, but for more mediocre or not of that quality kind of a people, we have to at least modify their behavior to look at the things in a structured way. That is how I wanted to say.
Hema, tell me which state are you from?
I'm from Maharashtra. I'm from Pune.
Okay. Tell me the Marathi term for empathize.
I mean, Marathi. I won't be able to remember.
So that is the problem, right?
Empathizing means you are actually
that a problem? No, just tell me, isn't that a problem? Isn't that a problem? We are not even translating it into our context.
No, I understand.
We are
understand.
No, I'm just saying, Ima, I don't want a response. I am just saying that is the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is that we are not translating it. In fact, I would say that it should be n equal to 1. We should be translating it into every student's language. The algorithm of design thinking.
Yeah, I agree to that.
And here we are mimicking a Stanford model, and we are just copying it in our heart.
Yes, sir, I agree to this whole of this spirit.
I don't want a response, Emma, please, because we don't have time. If we had 5 hours, I would have loved to interact. Ravi, last point, because your hands are raised. Otherwise, I'll start. Otherwise, we'll be too late. It will go on for 5 hours.
No, sir. Sir, please proceed ahead. I will just switch off. I did not know how to do that. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No, I would have loved to. I love these discussions, but constraints of time.
Sir, give us some time later. I would request the organizers to give us some time for discussion, because we've been hearing design thinking from day one, but we have some thoughts to make it a little more interesting and insightful. We won't get such august guests like you to talk to, so we would really request some kind of interactions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So let me share. This is so I would love you. See, it's not that I'm also using this model, right? The model is not important. The 5-step model of Stanford, there's no problem with that model. But how much you internalize it in your own language and your head, so that you are convinced about it. I can use the term gravity, but I need to know exactly what gravity is in my language. So if I'm lazy and don't even try to convert it into even my native tongue, how will I even tell my maid at home, design thinking? That before you design anything, please ask other people. Before you make something, please ask 3 other people. What do they want to eat, or what do they want to do? So the process, so let me now share this. This is an old 1950, somebody put it, and Murray Gell-Mann is actually a physicist, one of the physicists I really respect, and he recently died also. The most creative physicist, they say, in the last, one of the most creative physicists. So, but this is not the model by him. It is a 1940s model. They say that the process, how human beings create something, is timeless. This has been the model. The thing is, to create anything new or creative or to solve a problem, first step is called saturation. Saturation means that your mind gets enough information about that area, which is that none of us in this meeting will get great ideas about how to do cataract surgery in a new way, because we don't know enough about that area. But a lot of us might get creative ideas about teaching and about inspiring people, about design thinking, etc., because we know enough about that. So first is saturation, so that we know enough about the problem. So if we have to tell kids, and that's what Gitanjali was saying, that which are the kinds of problems you want to solve right now, which is the project you want to take up, we should encourage them to get deeper in some of the areas they should know, to give their brain enough inputs so that they come out with creative ideas. Wherever as teachers we can help them, we should guide them. Talk to this person, talk to that person, understand this problem more, etc. It is basically infusing the brain with enough building blocks around that problem. But does saturation alone work? 24 hours a day you keep learning about that project, thinking about that problem, etc. Will that work? The answer seems to be no. Because they say that the mind requires now to cross connect different ideas, and hence you need to calm your mind and give it some rest time where it's doing some other things. So your mind has to have a space in which it connects, and suddenly you get some good ideas. So hence you should have high quality incubation time. So we should encourage students to practice where their mind get this space and time. For example, in today's world, if every student is always on their mobile phones and all, you don't get that time. In earlier times, students used to wake up early, go for long walks. In the evening also, they went to play, etc. Go to temple, just sit around. You get a lot of incubation time. Incubation time is not whiling away time. It's a time where mind is getting a mental space. In today's world, we are teaching students to always be afraid of boredom, afraid of having even 1 second not wasted, go to tuitions, go do this, do that, or just while away their time in a passive way, seeing on mobile screens, etc. It's not incubation time. So how do we encourage our students to have built into their daily schedule some time where the brain gets completely relaxed, 2-3 hours without any mobile phone, any screen, just walking with their friends, some good practices. So automatically when they're talking to their friends about the problems, walking without disturbance, etc., etc., the chances that suddenly they get some good ideas and they collaborate and get good ideas increases a lot. And whatever problems they are stuck, they suddenly start seeing some connections. While doing something else, they'll get them some good ideas. All of us have experienced this. And then lastly, when they get that good idea, how do you implement it? And how do you now make it happen in the real world? And if you see a lot of good makers and inventors, etc., those who use high quality thinking and actually execute well, they're extremely detail oriented and very curious, because in manifestation, somebody asked, how can we execute well? Execution means that from the thought, ethereal thought cloud, now its rubber is hitting the road. The code, computer code has to work. The gear has to move. The thing has to face the real heat and dust. So suddenly you are going to hit reality. So people who are interested in manifesting and execution in reality are very curious early on, not just because of this problem. These are students who are always curious. Their teachers have inspired them to be curious. They keep watching how the world works, how reality works. So they have a very good mental model of the world. When they are going in the plane, they notice how are the seats, how many seats are there in which row, how is the plane accommodating so many people, how is what is the shape of the plane, why is the wing tilted on the outside. Every single thing they keep noting. They see a movie, they try to figure out what is the background score, how is the score done, why did our mood get uplift. Everywhere they're seeing details. They go to the kitchen, they notice that the roti is puffing up. Why is the roti puffing up? What is happening? Why is this hot air suddenly getting blocked? How is my plumbing system at home? How is it working? I'm on 4th floor. How is the water coming up? Etc. etc. Every single thing around them, they're interested and curious. So if you look at it, all great thinkers had a notebook, a pen, a pencil, a measuring thing. If you want to have good design thinkers, you have to instill in them this curiosity. You have to instill, for example, keen observation, curiosity, detail orientation, interest in how human beings behave, etc. This should be part and parcel of their personality. And once you have this is Leonardo da Vinci's notebook here. You just Google, you will see so many details. So many details about the human body, how wind moves, how everything here. So we have to, kinds of things we need to inspire students. So if you want to tell students that please carry in your pocket, one of the famous physicists in MIT used to do this. That's his way of instilling that. That in your pocket carry a tape, pocket carry a compass, pocket carry a scale, pocket carry a pencil. Keep noticing things, keep drawing things, keep having a little notebook in your pocket. Understand reality wherever you are seeing it. Unless you have these mental models in your head of reality, how will you manifest an idea into reality? Really good thinkers are extremely detail oriented because that's how the real things will work in the world. And as soon as you are detail oriented, you will be contextual. You will create your own models which work. You will start translating all things into vernacular. If 70% of your students don't understand English well, you will automatically translate. But are you using design thinkings to be good teachers? You talk about empathy, but are you empathizing? So all these are, you have to introspect. And the building blocks for design thinking is nothing but these foundational things. Everything else the students can learn today. When they come into the classroom, their mind should be ignited so that they can go back. In the classroom, they might spend 1 hour on design thinking, but rest of their life, whenever they're on YouTube, they're looking at new designs. Whenever they are walking around, they're noticing things. They can learn even technology stuff online now. But what they will learn in the classroom is collaboration, thinking, debating, arguing, questioning. And we as teachers have to ignite that minds. So this is my last slide. As educators, our only role is to make students discover their spark. That's why our President Abdul J. Kalam said ignited minds. Yeah. Now I'll take questions. Yeah. So I think somebody's mic is on. Tushar bhai, if you can. Yeah. Hello.
Sure, sir. I'll mute. All. You just have to unmute yourself, sir. 1 minute.
Okay, I am unmuted here.
Now, sir, you have to unmute.
Okay, great. Okay, so that was my last slide. So if anybody is interested, just go through that creativity cycle, John Wallace. You will easily find that each one is very deep. And if you can understand whichever way you want to understand, how do we get good ideas? And like Gitanjali Rao was saying, just get, or that girl who created the solar chart, any of these, all the good inventions, was a curious mind who suddenly saw their idea can help somewhere. They went into details. They were so interested in their ideas for it to work. They did whatever it needed. And we as human beings are inventive. We have all that ability. And we need to create an environment where students have this confidence that each and every one of them can be an amazing design thinker, maker, whatever you call it, whatever word, the labels are not important. We just have to inspire them and then lead them into, if you feel some model will help them, expose them. But they should be able to recreate their model. If there's a girl called Anuradha in the class, Anuradha should be creating her model. If you ask her, Anuradha, can you describe design thinking in your own words? She might not know a word of English, but she will create a diagram better than a Stanford diagram, saying that this is how I made this. I went and asked my uncle, I went and asked this person what do they need, and these are the steps I followed. This did not work. I did this, then I did this, then I got this idea when I was looking at that. Then I went back, I did this change. Let her describe her experience. Give them projects. Let them feel excited that I can do this small thing well, and later I can do big things. Yeah, so let me take questions now.
Yeah, sir, myself, Hauladar, Manotosh Hauladar from Bombay.
Hello.
And I see that your book, chapter 5, in chapter 5, 5
Okay.
plus 5 equal to, that seems to be the synectics I read long back by William J.J. Gordon and M. Prince.
Which book? Which book?
The books on the synectics by William J.J. Gordon. It is written around 1950, and he applied whatever you said, fully filling the mind with that knowledge, idea, and meditating. It seems to be meditating.
Yeah.
And that is actually, and during Second World War, he found lot of solutions.
Very
He
good.
was basically army man, so naval man, naval.
So just go slow. I want to capture that book's name. What is that name?
Sir, actually, the topic is the synectics. He coined the term synectics. That actually 5 plus 5 equal to 50, something like that.
Spelling is spelling?
SONNECTS. And person is William J.J. Gordon and M. Prince. Okay, sir, I'll write you.
Thanks.
And
Thanks
also that your book, that second author, he's a IIT Delhi alumni and he's a spiritual person. Does he practice the Vipassana sort of things?
Very good. So you just send me the details. Tushar Bhai would have my details. Just send me.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I would also like to get some your brief about your book. How that is connected with this current topic. But a bit more thoroughly.
So my book, I just took it from my shelf. My book is, you can see that?
Yeah. I saw that actually. Your chapter 5 actually is very, very interesting. I found it.
Yeah.
5 plus 5 equal to 50.
Yeah. So chapter 5 is 5 and 5 become 50. Chapter 4 is creativity and innovation. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Great. We can talk. Yeah. Thanks. Vijay Lakshmi, you wanted to say something?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, have you developed any design model of your building on your own ideas? Do you have any model?
See, I don't have I don't have a model, but I teach whenever I take courses on creativity and innovation, I use this one, which I like because not just as a labels, but I tell students that first get immersed, know the topic well first, then try to do something else about that topic. Don't keep focusing on that. You will get ideas. Have a notebook always with you. You will get a lot of ideas. Keep jotting down the notebook and keep being curious about what other people have, how they have implemented. Keep noting that down so that you are in touch with the real world. So I use this as a framework back of the mind because this is a basic model. This is how human beings think through. So I no need for invention as such for me. I just like this model to think through on my own as to how to encourage students to think differently. Because in the end, these are building blocks are very simple. What they will do with that thoughts are very unique and each person has their own unique take. Just like Newton's laws can be used for doing million things here. Nature uses building blocks for doing million things. So for your simple answer is no, I don't have a model called Chandrasekhar's model. I don't have.
Sir, is there any model that you have, your students have designed and have they gone through commercially successful or anything that have come to limelight?
Okay, Vijay Lakshmi. Acha. No. What I do is I mentor some startups also. I mentor some of my friends. I keep advising. So there are all big companies that are inventing products and doing products. But if you're saying that from a complete zero scale, have I helped some students build something till it's commercialized? No, I have not been involved in that.
Sir, any mantra for any difficulty for succeeding? Any small mantra for?
See, I keep a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs who have designed stuff and they have scaled up, etc., etc. There is no mantra there. The mantra is whatever we have shared right now. The mantra is basic building blocks are that you are passionate about why is a 15-year-old getting time of the year? How has she found her mantra? Mantra is within you. Vijay Lakshmi, you have all the mantras in the world. You be deeply interested in a problem, you will solve it. As long as you're open to learn from anybody.
Okay,
You
sir,
will
thank
solve.
you.
You will solve. There's no question in anybody's mind. So that is the
Thank you,
spark
sir.
you believe in yourself.
Thank
So
you.
Pankaj, yeah. Pankaj, you wanted to say something.
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for such an engaging and even, I must say, thought-provoking session. Because you actually brought us a different dimension to this thinking process, and I must appreciate your approach of that is more learner-centric. Will you allow me, sir, to make my submission?
Yeah. Please do. Please do. Hold on just a minute. Tushar ji, kab tak hai time? I know you are under constraints. Okay, continue.
Sir, officially your session may over, but we participants, we want your time for some time.
Okay, as long as
I'm
organizers
Janaki
are
Ram.
okay. Oh, okay, Janaki Ram sir. Okay. Yeah, Pankaj. आप
Thank you,
कहिए.
sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, my submission is, and please take it in, sir. Yeah, and then the faculty relationship.
Yeah.
Sir, Stanford, IDEO, and David Kelly, can't we becoming rude to these people who actually contributed a lot in structuring or accommodating content or even promoting design thinking worldwide? They have created awareness about it. At least they have created awareness. Rather we should criticize other institutions and researchers who have done excellent work in this area but failed to make people aware and failed to even influence people to learn this thing. So I think design thinking can be learned in a structured manner if you want, and as well as you rightly quoted, through the self-exploration or introspection. So choice is with the learner. So that's my submission, sir. Thank you so much.
Very good. Pankaj ji, आपने सही कहा. So I'm trivializing it a bit in this 1 hour session. I had friends who have done intense courses in Stanford and interacted with professors there. And they also lament the fact that all the students who go through their course in Stanford, only 2% or 5% actually become good design thinkers. So the reason is that they don't imbibe the core message and they'll go with superficial top level message. So if that is true about Stanford, imagine the dilution which happens, which gets spread. It is like everybody knows Bhagavad Gita at their home, everybody knows Jesus Christ's message, etc. But the imbibation does not happen deep. And the place for that to happen is the classrooms, young minds. If young minds foundation is not ignited, then the story is bad here. That was the only point. So absolutely make them exposed to models. That's not the issue at all. In today's world, they can open a computer and see as many models as they want. And you can give them 10 lectures on models, doesn't matter. So, but the deepest things have to be right. And as teachers, we have, because we are not in COVID times, but lot of opportunity we have to do that. Okay, Indrila?
Yes, sir. Sir, I was just trying to understand that design thinking, after listening to all the lectures by so many experts, what came to my mind that it is an attitude, it's a way of thinking. So why is it, my submission is that why is it not introduced at the school level? You know, if very young children, as you say, young minds need to be trained. So although some workshops are there, done here and there, but as a subject, I think if it is started at the high school level, it will really contribute greatly to the development of a country, because that is how these, as you said, the youngsters are the most important people. Because we are learning design thinking now, and maybe it is being implemented. I have first encountered design back. And you know, it's been introduced into B schools and all that, which is very I think very not too early. So why not it is implemented at the school, as we are all educationists here, and you know, so why is it not introduced at the school level, where we can change thinking pattern, you know, the empathy, the brainstorming. it becomes imbibed. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. See, good teachers have good teachers have been doing whatever you call it, design thinking, have been doing forever, and the quality of good teachers has to increase. So I think you are completely right. We should encourage, without even the label design thinking being used, in even the teacher education program, we should encourage some skills the teacher should impart to the students. Even in schools, 6th class, 7th class, how do you sit together and hear each other's ideas? How do you listen to each other's criticisms? How do you go and if you're solving a problem, ask the end users how would they like the specs of that problem to be solved, etc. Absolutely. These are all essential skills of life.
Yes, sir. Because when I did group activities in college, I have seen how children can't come together. The collaboration, the critical thinking is missing. It is really missing in our education system. They are not made to think critical. They are just made to do rote learning, and majority of the children who come out of 10th and come to 11th, 12th or design schools, they don't have critical abilities. It's very unfortunate that we are not doing anything around this, and I think it's a beautiful tool, this tool, which can be used. And I wanted to ask my colleague. He said that empathy is not for animals; it is always a human to human thing. But then probably we should change that word empathy, because in today's times, how can we not look at the environment? We now sustainability. One submission. Sustainability is there as a part of design thinking, but most organizations are limiting their sustainability to people and profits. The planet is being, taken for granted. So even if I would criticize the Apples and the Samsungs and the Microsoft that they have not inbuilt any kind of environmental factors so long. Now they are doing, which is too late in life. So even today I see packaging industries, they are making beautiful packaging, but you don't need packaging. Look at Swiggy and all, they send you home deliveries with a spoon and a fork. Who needs a spoon and a fork at home? So why are these small things not being taken care of? Because there is no empathy towards the environment. Big companies are not doing design thinking in a holistic way. I have the submission. This is my criticism towards design thinking.
Yeah, thanks. So it's not to do with design thinking. It is to do with human beings being more sensitive. You're right. And all of us at our personal levels, we should start looking. Our locus of control is our family, ourselves. So let's start there. Any change comes from within first. So let's do that. But your points are valid. I also disagree with with my fellow facilitators, faculty's view that empathy is only to do with human beings. That's not the definition at all. Formal definition is also not that. So it's not that definition. The greatest poets have cried looking at rivers, mountains, trees, etc., grasses, etc. So the most empathetic minds are empathy. Empathy is a deep human emotion. It's the language of the heart. It has nothing to do with humans, non-humans, animals, non-animals. It's a way of living.
I would love to read your book, sir. Good values and great business. But values come from some amount of spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think spiritual thoughts are missing in our society.
So great. So I would love to hear your feedback. Do read my book. It's with my friend who's a monk, Prasanna Stupa. So it's a very spiritual orientation. Okay, Vijay Lakshmi, you wanted to say something.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Janaki
sir, this is Ashok Chandra from Chhattisgarh.
Okay, Ashok ji. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Many times we have seen that the design thinking process just help to the big organization, but they just became a good organization. But the thinking process, the design thinking process are same for the local entrepreneurs also. But why? What is the gap between these, so that they didn't become or they became the good entrepreneurs or the good organization or big organization?
Yeah. So आपका question है कि why haven't the smaller organization used design thinking well?
Yeah. Yes, sir. The thinking process, design thinking process are same, but why they became? What is the gap?
See, I'm not able to answer such a big question. What I completely agree with you that the basic principle, it's like saying that a big rocket uses Newton's 3 laws, a small leaf uses Newton's 3 laws, etc., etc. So the basic things are the same.
Yes, sir.
And even I think it's echoing.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Tusharji, are they going? Hello? Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's okay. Yeah. So I don't have an answer. Sorry, but what I can say is that the more the organization, let's not chase success, but what you are saying is, can we apply this in very local context and well and meaningfully and deep? The answer is yes. Are the smaller entrepreneurs in India sometimes not given enough good inputs? The answer is yes. Big organizations are lucky that they have resources, they get the best inputs from best places, etc. Sometimes they be lucky in that sense. But our people, and India is also a poor country, we need help, etc. So for example, the climate change, not using plastics, etc. So a lot of times we need external governmental support also, so that we encourage these people, because cost structure increases initially. So how do we help these people initially, so that we don't penalize them in the short run? Those who want to be climate friendly, it will increase their costs. So as society, we need to ensure that we subsidize some of these things which are long term for society. And large organizations, like she's saying, large organizations actually pollute the environment a lot and they don't pay the price. So how can we create systems and governances around that? But yeah, sorry, I don't have the answer to your question. Sorry. Nazia ji?
No, not at all, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Nazia.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
hello, sir. Good afternoon. You have given us so many things to introspect. It's like a calm pool is there, and you have just thrown a rock, and now the wavelengths are there. I just wanted to have the name of the book, sir. Can you please give your book?
Okay, this book this is I don't want to plug my book, but now everybody's, it was in my shelf. It's called Good Values, Great Business. Can you see? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you for such a wonderful session, sir. It's mesmerizing. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks, Nazia ji. Yeah.
So
Any other question? Yeah. Who's it?
I'm Janaki Ram from Andhra Pradesh.
Hi, Janaki Ram. By the way, I am also from Andhra originally, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you for saying I don't know the answer.
Okay. Thanks.
Many people, they bluff and they say something, but I really appreciate you for not accepting and to be candid about not knowing the answer. And I want my question to you is, I appreciate your thinking in everything we learn and we can make our own model. So during pandemic time, I started learning about design thinking. Last December, I read about design thinking. I heard about design thinking. I am thank to God. I finished reading 10 books and many articles on design thinking, close to 100 articles.
Very good.
So I am developing my own model for design thinking, sir.
Very good. So Janaki Ram, my advice to you is, now don't read any books for 1 year.
No, I'm in a halfway.
And create your own good model which works for you.
Yeah,
and that will come out very strongly to students. Then it will be like a shining sun. Then you will inspire students.
Yes, sir. I have designed a course on design thinking, sir. I'm teaching it now.
Very good.
Can I send that course to you for evaluation and feedback?
Yeah. Tusharji will have my email ID, and you can send through him or ask him my email ID. He'll give you.
Okay, sir. My question, sir. Why do you connect Indian spirituality to design thinking?
See, I'm not talking about design thinking at all, because the foundational piece for a good design is a creative mind, and a creative mind is a unique mind, and the unique mind is discovering yourself. So one of the Sufi songs, one of the Sufi is, you know Sufi, I don't know. One of the Sufi songs, there is a line which says, "Teri surat ki tarah koi surat nahi," meaning that there is no face like your face. And this worshipper is talking about the God. There's no face like your face. There's no beautiful face like your face. So that face actually is you own, your own self. So there is no more beautiful face than your own face. So when you discover that deep inside your own true personality, then it's like a sun shining. Then you inspire students. So Indian spirituality or a Western spirituality, any spiritual system will say that first you have to know your own self deep inside. And that unique shining entity is what is, they say, self-realization. That self-realization, if it happens, then you are instantly very creative. So you become creative. So if you are not creative, what will you do with a model? Make sense, Jankiram?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the reason that connection is there, because even spirituality is a human endeavor. It is to find your own self. Everything is how human beings are thinking about this existence. Yeah, Jayalakshmi, you wanted to ask anything? Vijay Lakshmi's hand I see. Manotosh Holadar, yeah.
Yeah.
Manotosh, yeah.
So, sir, actually, I searched your YouTube. I did not find anything book about your book reading. You should have that one session of 1 hour, 2 hour. There is no book reading by your book, on your book. Your book,
okay, your request is
the
that
good value, great business. There is no discussion, no book.
No, so what is your request?
You should have a small lecture on that.
Okay,
on the
thank you.
YouTube.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Holadar. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, firstly, I'd like to thank that you have broken the stereotype of following the 5-step process which were involved in design thinking. I appreciate that you have broken the stereotype and you have asked everyone to follow our own spirit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? We then I think we have exceeded time, and Kaushal ji is also. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kaushal ji. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. For enlighten all of us and giving a new dimension of and that is what I believe that is a design thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what design thinking is. What I personally feel and believe that stereotyping or what something. This is only the way to do the thing. So all such things are not there in design thinking, and you rightly broke and rightly struck on the second last day of our FDP that you have given entirely a new way of thinking and entirely totally a new dimension you have given to all the participants. So thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening speech and discussion and presentation and everything, like whatever you have shared with the participants. So again, I thank on behalf of Gujarat Technological University Graduate School of Management Studies for accepting our invitation and sharing your extraordinary thoughts with the participants and motivating all of us for something new that we can do it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Kaushal ji. Thank you, Tushar ji. Thank you. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.